and welcome to On the Money. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Ryan Wheless. He is the founder of Allied Wealth, as well as joined by Peter Lott, financial advisor. Ryan, let me start with you. How are you today?
I am great. It's so good to be here with you.
It's so awesome to be here with you. I'm so excited about today's show. Peter, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Cynthia. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so excited for us to be in the studio together today because obviously there's so much information that we need to share with the viewers at home about planning properly for retirement.
There is.
Absolutely. So, Ryan, I should ask you right out of the gate, what types of questions are you hearing right now from people that are coming in for the first time?
People are very concerned at the moment about inflation, and we're seeing a lot of concerns based on that, simply for the fact that inflation is the erosion of the dollar's purchasing power. So if you retire with $1 million today, it may not buy $1 million of goods and services today like it did yesterday. So you look at gas prices going up, you look at what's happening with interest rates on the rise. And interestingly enough, the inflationary environment that we're in has created some stock market volatility here as of late. And we're getting a lot of questions around that as well.
That makes perfect sense because, Peter, obviously, if someone is going into the retirement years and they're not factoring in inflation, that can really erode their portfolio, correct?
Absolutely, it can. You know, if you're in a very conservative portfolio right now and you're seeing inflation of 5, maybe 7%, that's just going to take away what you can actually purchase throughout your retirement. And that's huge because if you're not planning for inflation right now, and you haven't really had to plan much for inflation, right?
No,
you know, the last few years you haven't had to.
10 years.
True.
Yeah,
so
you haven't really had to, but now, and that's a new thing that people are coming up with, and I'm getting a lot of people that are coming in and calling in, and they've been sitting in cash for a long time. We're seeing that a lot, and I think the reason that is because they're seeing the writing on the wall that, hey, you know, this 5, 7, 6% inflation that we're seeing is just eroding what I'm going to be able to buy. I was a great saver, but now I need to be an investor. And taking someone from, you know, someone that's basically sitting in cash and showing them ways that we can invest their money in the market, invest their money in vehicles that are safe, but they can still get a decent rate of return is what they're looking for. And education is huge. People don't really know a lot because this isn't what they've done their whole lives.
And Pete, the thing about that, the education part, is that a lot of folks out there are using old conventional financial wisdom that's based on the stock market going up over 1,000% between 1980 and 1999. And that changed in 2000. So a lot of people at home that are listening to the show right now are in portfolios that are outdated for an inflationary environment. And they don't even know it.
Wow.
So, you know, one of the things that you want to do is discover, hey, if my portfolio is an old 60-40 stock and bond portfolio, is there any ability for that portfolio to allocate to things that will help combat inflation, like commodities or real estate or gold or larger cap stocks? All those things can help mitigate that inflation risk, but it's amazing to me the number of people that come in our office that have no idea what their portfolio does or if it even does combat inflation.
That's true because a lot of people just pick investments that they think will work for them, but they're not really taking a look at what that is doing at the overall portfolio. Peter, I should ask you, how often do you recommend that someone rebalance their portfolio?
Well, Cynthia, that just depends on what they're doing. You know, if you've got, you know, maybe you're in a target date fund, you're in a 401ks in a target date fund, and maybe it's a 2025 fund. Well, that's got a heavy allocation of bonds in it. The problem we're going to see with that going forward is when bonds and bond values and interest rates, they're inverse of each other. So when interest rates go down, bond values go up.
Like a teeter-totter.
Exactly. When interest rates go up, bond values go down. So if you've got this huge portion of your portfolio right now that's sitting in bonds, and we know we're going to get 3, 4 rate hikes this year, a big portion of your portfolio is going to go down in value.
Yeah.
So you want to rebalance that often. You want to look into that and see, you know, what's going on with the market and make a change to that.
And the traditional thing about, you know, the why of why you have bonds in a conservative portfolio is bonds are supposed to be the way you de-risk a portfolio.
Yeah.
You know, that's traditionally how it's done. And if your de-risking mechanism in your portfolio is about to be in a situation where rates go up and it drops in value significantly, the mechanism you're trying to reduce volatility with is not going to work. And so many folks at home have no idea what's about to happen to them in the bond market. And they will just sit there and say, hey, my advisor told me to, you know, look at this, or go in this 60-40 portfolio and stay there. And I always ask when I see that, I say, hey, do you have enough confidence in your current financial plan or financial advisor to seek a second opinion?
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of folks go, well, no. And I'm like, well, then you should come in and see us.
Absolutely.
Well, yes, then you should come in and see us, right? So the answer to that question is always yes. Come in and talk to us. And then what we'll do is we'll show you ways to reduce the overall volatility in your portfolio, getting away from the old adage of bonds because they're not going to work going forward in the future. And we've got ways to show you how to allocate capital towards things that do well in an inflationary environment so that your dollars do go as far as they should in retirement.
Okay, Ryan, thank you. Peter, I know that you're very proud of the fact that when 08 and 09 hit, your clients felt very secure. Let's talk about that a little bit.
They did, Cynthia. The way we had them positioned, they were very secure. The most recent, though, really is COVID.
Yeah.
You know, the market drew down 35, 36% in less than a month, around a month. And a lot of people, they weren't prepared for that. And they lost a lot. My clients, the way they were positioned, they lost very little. You know, we've got tools that if it's very low risk, but you still achieve a decent rate of return, we have those tools available to you. So if you're conservative, that's fine. Come in, let's talk. You call the number, get us in, and we can spend some time with you and see if that's going to be a fit for you. You know, Ryan, you've got a lot of clients too, and the way that you manage money, that really helped the pull down too, or draw down of
Absolutely. The funny thing was, Cynthia, is we have a client call me up, and a lot of my clients have my cell phone number. I mean, they're like friends and family, right? So cell phone rings, and I try to always answer a client call when they call me, and answer it, and this lady calls me, and she's like, Ryan, I'm losing all this money. I'm like, have you logged in to see your accounts? She says, well, no. I said, well, log in to see your accounts and call me back. And she calls me back about 5 minutes later, and she's like, thank you so much. I'm so sorry for calling you and saying that. I should have looked at my accounts first. I mean, it's okay. I'm here for you. I'm here to talk you off the ledge. But, you know, it's part of what we do is that a lot of money managers and investment firms out there, they think that the client wants, somebody who's got their life savings, they think they want the highest rate of return they can possibly get. And you just get that rate of return, and when the stock market crash comes, hey, you just got to ride this thing out and get back on the train and keep getting these returns again. And you can do that when you're 40.
Right.
Adding money to a 401k, you can do that.
Right.
But when you're 50, 55, 60, and getting close to the retirement red zone, as we call it, it is time to do things differently and reduce that downside risk and be able to have a portfolio that can kind of automatically do that stuff for you.
Sure.
That way you're not in a situation to where you have a massive drawdown in your portfolio. And it's just one of those things that so many people miss that important thing, that shift from the old way of doing things to now I'm retired, I'm depending upon this money for the next 30 years, right?
Absolutely.
So I better do some things differently to make sure that when the market does crash, I don't crash too.
Yep, and you still have that safety net and you feel protected and secure. Well, Ryan, I know that you and Peter have a very special offer to present to the viewers at home today. Let's talk about what that is and then open the phone lines.
Yeah, so we're talking about portfolios and money management here today. And so, you know, the reality is that a lot of folks don't understand if we went back through a dot-com crash or a 2008, 2009 or a taper tantrum or another COVID crash, how would your portfolio perform? And there are ways to tell that exactly, you know, within a few percentage points what your portfolio would do, and we can stress test that portfolio to see how it would have done in that environment. And what that will do is, okay, well, Ryan, this thing drew down 20%. That's too much for me. I want to be something that draws down 8 to 10%. The next thing we'll do is look at your risk, we'll look at your fees, and you know, I tease people all the time and say I've never met anybody in this business that I couldn't reduce their fees by 50%. So all that's part of the portfolio X-ray that we'll provide for you. All you have to do is call 844-944-7555. And we will get started on the portfolio X-ray right away, and I can promise you will know more about your portfolio than you did before you had the X-ray.
It's like going to the doctor with a broken bone. You need to be able to see it, right?
Know what's going on inside.
You do. Ryan, thank you so much. Peter, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen. That number is 844-944-7555. We know you have a lot of questions for Ryan and Peter about how to plan your perfect retirement. They have the answers for you. Don't miss the opportunity to get that portfolio X-ray. Once again, the number is 844-944-7555. We have to take a very short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. I have so much more with Ryan and Peter when we return.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have. By running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
And welcome back to On the Money. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Ryan Wheless. He is the founder of Allied Wealth, as well as joined by Peter Lott, financial advisor. It's clear we're having a great time on the show because obviously coming back from commercial break, we're still laughing and having fun. But I do want to talk to you a little bit, just because I know, obviously, Ryan, you can handpick the best advisors from anywhere that you want. What made you choose Peter to join your team?
Wow, he was walking down the road and had his thumb out like this, and I kind of felt like I'd help a guy out.
Come on, Ryan. Come on, man.
Show him the path.
You know,
and
to
how
be
help
honest,
more
Ryan,
people.
you found me at a boat ramp.
This is true.
We actually wound up being best friends and turned into great friends, and then now we work together, and it's an awesome relationship.
It is awesome.
It's a lot of fun. We have a ton of fun.
Pete has experienced a lot of success as a direct result of being somebody who really cares about his clients and his prospective clients, and it's awesome to see that shine through. But hey, more importantly, Pete's experienced a tremendous amount of success, and to be part of that with him and that experience, that growth with him, is just about brings a tear to my eye.
I love that. Well, I have to ask you, Peter, what do you love about working with Ryan every day?
Lord.
Here we go.
Well, I'll save half of it because we can't see it on TV.
This is true.
And we'll spare the viewers at home. What I really enjoy about working with Ryan is his ethic. You know, he's a stand-up guy. It's 100% truth from from every angle. And being his friend and seeing his clients before I even worked there, I got to see, how the business worked, how he was with his clients, and just honest, stand up, and good ethics. And I'm connected to that. It's kind of like a magnet to people like that. So, it's been fun. We have a ton of fun together.
We do.
We were neighbors for several years. Now we're not. A little bit further drive, but we've had a lot of vacations together. We've had a lot of fun.
Wives are very close friends.
We got kids
that's
almost the same
best.
age, so it's a lot of fun. It is.
Yeah, and I know that the clients love coming in because they love the synergy between you two and also with Matt as well, that they feel like the office is just always there for them. The door is always open and they feel that they're always welcome. So that's a huge testimonial to you both.
Thank you.
It really is.
We really strive to make a great office environment. We have a phenomenal team, a growing team at that, and very careful about who we bring on to make sure the dynamics in the office stay the way they are, because they're very good.
Yeah.
And everybody's there is ready, willing, and able. And the thing about our company is that we are different, and there's a lot of things that make us different. But if you come in our office, there are no offices. Everybody sits in a bullpen.
Yeah.
So we all can hear each other, talk to each other, feed off of each other, and it creates a well-oiled machine when you do that, because everybody kind of knows what's going on. So we don't have like one, if one of my clients calls the office and Pete can help them, he's going to jump on the phone and help them.
Yeah.
We're not going to make a client wait to get a call back from Ryan when Pete can absolutely help them.
Yeah.
So it's a team effort to where the most important thing to us is making sure our clients know that we're there for them and things are going to be okay.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, you could have chosen to specialize in the accumulation years, Ryan, but you chose distribution specifically to help people with retirement. Why is that? Where does that dream come from?
Well, we say that we kind of get you two in through retirement at Allied Wealth, and that retirement actually does not start when you leave the job.
Yeah.
Retirement starts at 50, right? Because you better be preparing by that time at 50 at least, getting ready for the golden years.
Yeah.
And the thing for me is that I saw what happened to people in 2008 and 2009, and I saw what happened to people in 01 and 02. And I experienced some personal things in the 01-02 crash. I was a pilot going to flight school, and the next thing I know, no airlines were hiring, and I've got $100,000 in student loans, and I can't get a job. So, and then I see people that can't retire now, and I know people that all kind of things suicides happened. People were very concerned about, I just lost my entire life savings. What do I do? And it was just, it was an unbelievable experience. And I said to myself, well, I believe if I can get myself in a position to help people, that I will be blessed. And that's exactly what's happened. And so I love helping folks. And the thing about it is, with retirement today, there's always pieces. In the old days, you work for 60 or 30 years at a company, 40 years. You retire with a gold watch and a pension and Social Security. All of your income came from guaranteed sources. There was no planning to be done,
true.
right?
Yeah.
And today, you've got to decide, what do I do with Medicare?
Yeah.
When do I take Social Security? What about taxes? What are those things called RMDs?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to roll the money out of my 401k and I got to pick my investments now? What investments do I pick?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, how much money can I take out of my 401k or my IRAs? What about taxation? What about future taxation? What about inflation? I mean,
all these
It's
things.
overwhelming. It is, man. It is.
It's absolutely
It is
overwhelming.
really overwhelming. So I have to ask you, Peter, when people come in for the very first time, how do you help them navigate with all of these different pieces that Ryan just mentioned?
That's a great one, Cynthia, and it's education.
Yeah.
And taking people that don't know very much and just building blocks. And taking complicated investment strategies that sound, you can make them sound as complicated as you want, but really bringing it down to a level where anyone can understand it is huge. So helping people understand, their Social Security timing, when to take Social Security, how to create an investment income plan is huge. And distributions and how much you can take over the course of 25, 30 years, because you're not bringing in a paycheck anymore. And now you've got to take your investments, and now that's your new paycheck, that's your new income. Social Security is probably not going to be able to take care of you the way you want to live. If you've got a pension, that's great, but a lot of pensions are gone. You don't see a lot of pensions anymore.
That's true.
So,
As I read this, 13% of companies today are offering pensions.
13%. Wow, and think about how that has changed from years past.
Right, exactly.
That's incredible.
It's dramatic. It's dramatic.
Wow. And so obviously when you retire, you're responsible for creating your own paycheck, correct, Ryan?
Yeah, so the old days, it was, the company invested for that you worked for, invested for you. They ran your pension fund. And again, you got your Social Security benefits, and that was retirement. So there was very little planning to be done. And interestingly enough, we talk about the 401k all the time, right?
Yeah.
The 401k is what changed retirement forever.
Yep.
See,
Isn't that amazing?
It is. And so the 401k was not designed to be the primary savings vehicle for retirement. It was never designed like that in the first place.
It wasn't.
Right? And so what happens is you have all this money all of a sudden going into a 401k plan that find its way into the stock market, right? And you have this 401k, all these deposits going into the market, a lot of dollars chasing fewer stocks, and the stock market melts up 1,000%. And people that started in the workforce in 1980 to 1999 experienced over 1,000% return in that time frame. And they just thought that's the way it was. I've got gentlemen that have mentored me in this business have been in the business longer than me that were working back in the 80s, and people were wanting their retirement plans run at 20%.
Wow.
20%.
Wow.
That doesn't work, right? And so today, it's just changed because now the onus of saving is on the employee, the retiree, and then the onus of putting all the pieces together, the Social Security, the Medicare, the investments, the income plan, all that stuff, the onus is on them to put it together. And again, it can be a very overwhelming process, which is why Pete and I love helping people navigate that stuff.
Yeah.
Because we're very good at it.
We do.
It
I'm
definitely
lucky.
shows.
When you love what you do, you never work your day in your life.
That's
so true.
We really don't.
Very
we
true.
Really don't.
I love that. Well, gentlemen, I know that we're going to open up the phone lines again for a second time. Let's talk about what the offer is, Ryan, and then go to the phones.
We're talking about all these pieces, folks. We're talking about your Social Security. We're talking about your Medicare. We're talking about your investment selection and your 401k and your IRAs and RMDs and all this stuff. And so what we do is help you build a financial blueprint or a portfolio X-ray. It's kind of the same deal that we do. We look at the numbers that you've got. What are you trying to accomplish? How do we put this entire piece together? And we build a written comprehensive financial plan for you. And that way you know where you're going. You know which direction you're going. And one of the nice things about that is we actually have a success rate. And that is part of that plan, right?
Okay.
So what is your long-term success rate? Right? Can we get it to 100%? Can we get it to 85%? Where can we get that success rate to? And then we monitor that each year when we do reviews with our clients and make sure you're on track for success. So if you have a market downturn and you're still on track for success, great. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
If we have a market downturn and we get below that 85% threshold, we can make changes and get you back on track. right? But if you don't take advantage of the portfolio X-ray, you're not going to know this stuff.
That is very true. Brian, thank you so much. Peter, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the phone number to call is on your screen. That number is 844-944-7555. We know that you have a lot of questions for Ryan and Peter about how to plan your perfect retirement. Don't miss the opportunity to call in and take advantage of the complimentary portfolio review today. Again, that number is 844-944-7555. We have to take a very short commercial break, but I have so much more with Ryan and Peter when we return.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to On the Money. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Ryan Wheless. He is the founder of Allied Wealth, as well as Peter Lott, financial advisor. Gentlemen, a wonderful show that we're having today, talking about such an important topic, planning for retirement. And I know a lot of our viewers in the viewing audience, they're probably wondering what exactly is a well-constructed retirement plan. So Ryan, I should ask you, what are the different pieces and parts that make up that pie?
So there's a lot, and the way to look at it at a 10,000-foot view is understand this. Retirement is about solving an equation, and that equation is, how do I live the next 30 to 40 years without a paycheck and not run out of money or income in the process? So a financial plan, an overall spending plan, retirement income plan, whatever you want to call it, should absolutely solve that equation for you.
Okay.
Right, and so you have to look at all these pieces, and then one of the most important things that you have to do is look at your discretionary expenses versus your non-discretionary expenses. So we call non-discretionary expenses food, water, shelter, clothing, access to health care, transportation. I don't know anyone who can have any quality of life in their golden years whatsoever without those basic things covered.
That's
right?
true.
So let's assume that your cost of discretionary expenses or non-discretionary expenses are $60,000 a year. You've got $30,000 a year coming in from Social Security. Okay, so if we've got 30 coming in and we need 60, we've got a gap of 30.
Absolutely.
Right? So how do we generate that $30,000 to you as long as you have breath in your body, right? Regardless of what happens with the stock market, the economy, or with interest rates, right? So we want to look at how to take those non-discretionary expenses and make sure that those foundational expenses are covered from guaranteed sources, so you never have to worry about not having any quality of life whatsoever. And once we've got that, then we go to the fun bucket and we start planning around vacations and, cars, if you want to buy, your old muscle car that you used to race down the street or whatever it is, right? But you have the fun money too.
Sure, that makes sense. Well, I have to ask you, Peter, is there one section that people fail to plan for more than anything else? We touched on inflation a little bit at the beginning of the show, but is there anything do people forget about a lot?
I think a lot of people, what they're doing is they're thinking, okay, I need $5,000 a month to live on. And they're not thinking about, well, I might want to go out to eat a little bit more during retirement, or think about that every day is now a Saturday in retirement.
Indeed it is.
And your costs may go up.
Sure.
And that's probably going to happen because you're out, before you were going to work every day, you probably weren't spending as much. Now you're out running the streets, going to Home Depot, doing all the things you're going to go do in retirement, fixing all the things you wanted to fix that you couldn't do when you were working.
Traveling.
Yeah.
Traveling, doing things like that. So now every day's a Saturday. So we've got a plan. So I think sometimes people come a little bit conservative when they say, I need $5,000 a month out of my retirement plan. And you want to dig a little deeper and ask, is that just going to cover the non-discretionary expenses.
Yeah.
What are we going to have over and above that to see if that's going to be able to cover it and take that, and then is the plan going to work? And then, with that planning that we do, you want to see, obviously want to see a good case scenario. We want to see a middle of the road scenario, but I always want to see the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
That's the one I want to see. I want to see the one where we've really put the screws to this thing.
We have a rule in our office with our planning team is if the worst case scenario for a client, we show them the sun, moon, and stars scenario, the unicorn scenario, the middle of the road scenario, and then we show them the worst case scenario. In order for any of my advisors to present a financial plan to a client, that worst case scenario must be positive.
Absolutely.
So we do not want our clients running out of money or income in the process of retirement.
Ryan, how long does it take you and Peter to design a plan for someone when they're first coming in? How long is that process?
The process starts with the getting to know you session, and it's kind of like we need to find out what you're trying to accomplish, and that's really the first question of the meeting is share with me what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then we dive into all the aspects of what their investment base is. And then from there, we build a plan. It takes about a week to do all this stuff, but we look at the plan, and what we're going to do is we're going to present them a plan based on what they're currently doing.
Okay.
Okay? And then we do something different in our office, and people love this. Then I'm going to show them a plan that shows them just putting their money at straight Vanguard and not paying a financial advisor at all, any fees whatsoever. All right? And then we show them a plan with some safe money aspects of what it would look like to work with Allied Wealth. And then we show them a plan based on all risk. And it's kind of like a vision test, right?
Yeah.
Which one do you see? And Cynthia, I will tell you this, it is mind-boggling to me the number of plans that we come in and the folks have a 72% success rate. And then I show them what they can do at Vanguard on their own, and they have a higher rate of success than what they're currently doing with their current financial advisor.
Wow.
And they're paying that advisor fees. I'm like, wait a minute, what are we doing?
Well, gentlemen, I cannot believe that we're almost to the end of another amazing show this week. Ryan, thank you so much for all of your time. Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know the viewing audience enjoys all of the information that you were able to share. To the viewers at home, we know that you probably still have a lot of questions about how to plan your perfect retirement. We are keeping the phone lines open. That number is 844-944-7555. Ryan and Peter would like to help you navigate your path of retirement. If you're not currently on the right path today, wouldn't you want to know? All you have to do is take advantage of the call, 844-944-7555. Be safe, be happy, be blessed, and we'll see you back here 1 week from today.